Hey everyone, and welcome back to Where in the Herd is Tiffany. On today's video, I have a special guest with me, and I'm excited to have him on the program. His name is Kofi, and our topic today is about dating, but from the perspective of a Ghanaian man. We had a awesome video with two other guests, but we were talking from a women's perspective, so I thought what better way than to have an actual guy talking about relationships? And we'll also be discussing a variety of topics, including dating African American women and like traditional roles, or if that is really the case. Are there traditional roles with African men? I don't know. Let's get into it. So, Kofi, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll jump straight into our conversation.
Right. Thank you, Tiffany. Hello, everybody. My name is Kofi. I'm a Ghanaian. I'm an actor. I'm a TV host, and then I'm also a tour guide. So, today I hope to have a very good conversation to, go in favor of both of us, talking about the African American and then the Ghanaian man. Yes. So I'm happy to be
And
here.
and Kofi mentioned tour guides. So quick plug, really quickly. I host trips to Ghana, and Kofi is our tour guide while we're there. So we already done a trip for the year of the return, and we are doing another trip coming up this December. So check us out so they can join us on that trip. That's not what this video is about, but a shameless plug on a group trip. So we would be happy for you to come along with us. All right, that was my little announcement. So let's get right into it. Like I said before, the video is really about your perspective or dating African American women. So we're changing around just a little bit. So tell me, what is your experience with dating African American women? And also let's compare to maybe what you've dated. Have you dated Ghanaian women? So we can do some comparisons too. But let's start off with first. Have you dated African American women?
Right. First of all, I think I have to start from the first thing I've ever, come across and I've realized about both women and then also Ghanaian women is the culture differences, the backgrounds. Uh, Ghanaian have a way of raising their kids so that when they grow to be adults, they were raised from a certain kind of cultural background. And then it's also the same thing applies to the Americans. Here in Ghana, when you have like a boyfriend or you are dating or you have a husband, most times the men, we say they are the head of the family and you have to accord them with the necessary respect. One. Two, you dare not, like argue with your African man. That is from a Ghanaian perspective. Because we believe sometimes even you might have a very good reason to argue with him about whatever it is. It could be about the family, it could be about finances, it could be about whatever. You know but when you start to talk about that, the more you talk about it, here we see to be some kind of disrespect. you know so that is different from the other side that is talking about the Americans. But here, when you have a husband, when you have a boyfriend, you have to accord them the necessary respect. That is one. Two, you also have to cook for them, wash for them, clean their houses. Though you might not be wife already, just a girlfriend, but you have to do all this. And then in Africa too, and in Ghana, when you get married or you are engaged or you are dating a man, you are not just dating the man, you are dating the entire family. Especially when you think of having the man's as your own, like having the man's hand in marriage. You understand what I'm saying? So
Interesting. Kofi, let me stop you for a second. Let's go back to that last point you made about cooking and cleaning, even though they could be just with your boyfriend. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yes, there is definitely a big difference right there because we have been taught culturally that you don't do the things that you do for a boyfriend that you would do for your husband. So if you're married, yeah, there's no issue with cooking, cleaning, all that kind of stuff. But if it's just your boyfriend, nah, we don't do all of that. And we use that common phrase like, "Oh my God." Well, no, it's kind of use something different. I was about to say, "Don't put the horse before the cow." It's something like that. But anyway, the point is, yes, that is a big cultural difference. We're not doing all that just for a boyfriend. I just wanted to mention that. And if anybody else that's an American woman that's listening to this, do you agree with what I just said? Okay, keep going.
So going on, like you said, that you are not married yet. You are just a girlfriend, so you don't have to do all this. Here too, when you don't do it, we presume that you are not going to be a good wife. So the boyfriend, girlfriend is some kind of rehearsal ground to the actual marriage. So if you don't do that, the man might think you are lazy. So when they finally marry you, you're not going to help them. Like I said, you're not just with them, you are with the family. The father, normally the mother, sometimes the father, but in most cases, the mother of the guy or the boyfriend will sometimes come and pay you a visit. She will intentionally come and spend some time with you. You have to cook for her to know how you cook, if you are a good cook or not. While she's there, she will be monitoring everything that goes around. You understand what I'm saying? The way you clean, the way you wash, the way you cook, everything. The way you talk to the boyfriend. Sometimes the mother will be indoors in their bedroom, but they will be having their ears with you, go for you, your conversations. So the following day, your mother can be like, I overheard you talking to your girlfriend, and she was yelling at you, she was screaming, she was arguing. This is not going to help you. You understand what I'm saying? So,
So is it low key like like a job interview before the job? A little bit low key. Is that a good correlation?
I mean, however you see it or however, but that's how it works here, you know. And then sometimes too, whilst you are dating, you have to ask your man to go with you to visit the man's mother and father if they are living together, if they are still married. You have to go and visit them, spend some time with them, go and clean for them. I mean, you try to do things to get their favors. You understand? Because they have like about 50% of, like, they say whether you're going to be married or not. Because here, when the mother say no, it's no, regardless how the man loves you. When the mother says no, no. When the father says no, no. Some to extent, even the in-laws, the sister-in-laws and the brothers-in-laws, they all have voice in it. So you have to make sure all of them likes you, and they're gonna only like you for one reason, that, like, you are hardworking, you clean, you cook, you are also, like, not trying to rock shoulders with a man and all that. Moving on.
Yeah, and that's a big difference for us too because it's like we date somebody and when we're ready to marry. So some people are very traditional and they try to ask the father for a hand in marriage, but that's not, I feel like years go on, that's not really the case now. It's more like, let's say I'm dating, I like somebody and I will introduce them to the family. Like I may not really be too concerned whether or not my family approves or likes the guy. I'm just gonna say this is who I like, this is who I want to marry, and like the decision is kind of really all our own. Of course, you have some people who it's kind of what you're describing where the family is super involved, but American culture not as much as the way you're describing it.
So here is the other way around. Here you definitely need the family's approval.
Okay.
If you bring a woman and introduce it to your family and they say no, possibility you guys are going to break up is like about 70%, because your mother threatening you. If you are going to marry a woman, I'm not going to be there. You don't have my blessings. And here we see it like a taboo. Get married without your parents' blessing. You understand? They should get involved. So when they threaten you, like, okay, then this one is who you want, no problem. But I'm not part of it. Count me out. Then it becomes a disaster. So you definitely have to find means to convince them. If there is something they don't like about them, then you have to find means to rewrite a story for them to know, okay, now I think we're good to go. Again, the way you dress is also part of it. Until recently, as an African woman, if you want to get married to a man, the way you dress form very much part of it. Okay. Here, most times our weather is hot. Like, it's not even most all the time. We are always having a hot weather here. Yes. But you can be, wearing, short pants, hot pants, whatsoever. Your mother gonna tell you, oh, so this lady you're trying to marry is showing all your property, something that she's supposed to cover for you alone, showing to the whole world. No, you can't be with this one. Okay. So if you are that type, whenever your mother-in-law to be comes around, you have to change the way you dress. And you dare not dress like that same way to them. They will reject you. But
It's funny that you mentioned the dress, because I remember now Morocco is completely different from Ghana, but I wasn't even in a relationship, anything. I was literally visiting Morocco, and I was doing a cooking class, and it was so hot. And I had on a long dress, but I got hot. So I think I kind of like lifted up my dress a little bit, but it was a long dress, so you still couldn't see anything. You should have seen the way my tour guide's mother, we were at her house cooking, or their house cooking, and she said something in Arabic. I don't know what she said, but I know she was very displeased in that moment that I even pulled up my dress a little bit because it was hot. So that's interesting to hear. Like, some of the stuff, even if they're different countries, some may go along with kind of the same kind of culture of like modesty. So
yeah. So moving on, tell you a short story. Until recently, previously, if you're a Ghanaian man, where I'm from in Ghana, from the Ashanti tribe and the Ashanti culture, those days, your parents or your uncle is the one who is going to choose a woman for you. Okay. You will not go around and spot somebody on the street or school or wherever and say, I've seen somebody I think I want to be with. But they will be looking around and see, okay, Kofi, so now you are coming of age. You need somebody to settle down with. So they will go get you somebody. They will call you and introduce you to that somebody, and you have to be with that somebody. You
so
cannot go.
basically like an arranged marriage.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's how it used to be. But unfortunately, now the world is changing and the culture is also changing, especially the Western culture is having a kind of influence ours because of the global world, the social media, and the rest. Yes. So because of that, still now you can go and bring somebody, but they still have a hands and they have a say in it. You need their approval.
Okay.
Again, the way talking about American women and Ghanaian women, you see, you don't be doing all these things because you are not yet married, but here you have to do it. That is, like I told you, it's a rehearsal ground to the actual marriage. So if you don't do that, it's but the other way around is not like that. When you are dating, and then okay, just in case maybe you have a child whilst you are dating, you have a child. Everything about the child supposed to be taken care of by the woman. When you are doing something and the man is around, and probably you are so much occupied, but you still have to carry the child along with you. The man will just be sitting and relaxing. But now things are changing. because of the involvement of foreign, like I'm saying, the Western culture. But
Right.
previously it
I'm
wasn't
glad
like
to hear things are. I'm glad to hear things are kind of changing. Um, so you talked about some of the like Ghanaian culture during dating. So what has your experience been? Let's say you were dating an African American woman versus what you just explained.
okay. So that side too is also a different ball game altogether because here things you say to a Ghanaian woman is okay with. When you say to African American woman, it becomes a problem. A typical example is that when you have to, let's say you have a date or you have a program, you have an appointment that you're supposed to go with your girlfriend, you know, and then you are running late. When you tell your girlfriend, hey, if you are, come on, you need to double up, we gotta go. She's gonna be like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll be with you now. But my experience with African American woman, she's gonna be like, you don't rush a woman when she's dressing. That is one. The next minute you say it's gonna be a fight. But the African woman is not gonna be like she rather gonna plead on your behalf that okay, I'm coming up, I will be with you soon and all that. Again, they don't cook for you. The African American dating, they don't cook for you. And it's not like mandatory that they have to cook for you. It's not mandatory that they have to wash for you. It's not mandatory that they have to clean your room. So if both of you decide not to clean, then the whole place is going to be messy. But I also feel like it depends on the personality too, because some of them too are also just like a version of the Ghanaian women. You know,
Yeah.
again, the African American woman don't agree the fact that your entire family is involved in the relationship, unlike the Ghanaian woman. You know, so when you have to, oh, so babe, that's my auntie. Let's go and say hello to my auntie. She gonna be like, for what? Because it's my auntie. So for what? I mean, okay, so my uncle says uh he's gonna come here tomorrow. She's gonna ask questions for what? But the Ghanaian men don't care who is coming or not because they are all involved. And
Does
when
that
you have,
include like what do you call it? Like staying for a significant amount of time?
okay, and then to when it comes to giving out money, when you have to give out money, here either you are rich or poor, either you are working or not, even if you are not working, the little money that comes your way is not for you alone, it's for your entire family, the extended family.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't give them money, it becomes like, a problem, like a huge problem. Oh, don't worry about Kofi. Kofi don't care about nobody. He's all about himself. So the little pay you get from the job you're doing, you still have to extend some of that money to your mother, to your auntie, to your uncle, to whoever you have to reach out to. But the African American woman don't understand that why would you have to, you know, that is for us. And they have to, so
Yeah,
you
no,
have
yes, I can vouch for that. That we are very, we're all very like, how does it concern me? If it doesn't concern me, then it's like, yeah, I don't know about giving it to family. Now, not everybody is like that. Some families are like, hey, if my family needs help, they can get it if I have it. But a lot of people are kind of like, nope, this is mine. I work for it. This is only for me. I don't have to extend it to the family. Or they could be like, oh, maybe a special holiday. I can give my family something or do something, but it's not like a year round, like, hey, I work this week, so let me go ahead and send to my family. Again, that doesn't apply to everybody, but that is a common thing. When I went to Thailand, another thing was we were on a tour and we were eating, and so the lady was like, "Hey, we're gonna have family style meal," and I was like, "Oh, okay." She was like, "Yeah, unlike in America, I know you guys don't like to share." And I kind of laughed and I was like, it's true, because if I go to McDonald's, I'm probably going to get me a meal. I'm not going to ask everybody in the household, like, hey, what do you want to eat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do realize that we do have certain customs and different things like that. Okay, so any other differences that you kind of notice between the two?
Okay, and again, the Ghanaian men, if they are dating African American or even Ghanaian women, this kind of funny, but it's one of those. Ghanaian men don't use their mouth to, have oral sex, like they don't eat pussy.
Okay, so we're just jumping right into the sex portion. So you're saying basically that guys, or we're gonna say guys. We're talking to a Ghanaian man, so we're gonna say get some Ghanaian man. Well, do you want to say some, or you want to say
Most
most, or what do you want to say?
most Ghanaian men,
Okay, so you're trying to say that most Ghanaian men do not perform oral sex.
yes.
Is that have anything to do with a culture, a custom? Like, what is the issue with that?
Okay, so two sides of it. The other side is that some early will tell you the moment you do that, you lose your power as a man. Like, all the power you have on your tongue, you're gonna lose it to that. So
Okay.
they feel like, nobody gonna take you serious. Anything that comes out of your mouth doesn't carry no weight. You know.
Which is funny because, like, how would they even know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows what you're kind of doing behind closed doors. But that's funny. But anyway, keep going.
Yes. So that is one. And again, the other side is also like they see it to be like, to be they see it to be like kind of nasty. Yes. They say, no, you don't do that. It's nasty. you
Oh,
know.
okay, well, let's ask this question. Most Ghanaian men don't want to have oral sex or do that to their women partner, but are they okay with their women doing that to them? Is there a double standard here, or they don't want it done to them at all?
That one it also varies. They don't want it to, but sometimes to, some it's not like everybody.
Right.
Yes. So that is that about that.
So it
And
just
then
kind of depends on the person. Okay.
mhm.
So that's always interesting culturally on that particular topic in general. So I know most Ghanaians are like Christians, or what do they think about sex before marriage? Is that something that is done, or that's something that's not done?
Morally, culturally, before even Christianity is wrong. Gone are the days if you should have sex. I remember those days where I'm from, my village, you know, when you are being caught that you've had sex with somebody you are not married to, especially when you are even young and you are not at that age that you're supposed to do that, they're gonna bring both for you to, like, to public and shame you.
Okay.
They're gonna have all this, your peers running after you, clapping and singing and you know booing after you that you did what you're not supposed to do. You understand? So even before the introduction of Christianity, that was not something that you're supposed. And then back in the days, when one is in their adolescent age, they have to perform a rites for them that they call depot. When they realize you've started menstruating and all that, you are at the adolescent age, they have to perform the depot rites for you before you can even see a man. When they don't do that for you and you see a man or you have sex, it means it's a taboo, it's abomination. Sometimes they can even chase you out from the village and all that, or wherever you are living.
So what is the rites like? What kind is it a ceremony? Like what do they do for the
Yeah,
younger?
there's a ceremony that they have to, like, they outdoor you to the whole town that now you are at your adolescent age. But mind you, that doesn't give you a certificate to go and sleep with somebody. But that say now you can get pregnant, like you've come of age, like you've grown up. But if that right is not performed, you are still like a little girl, so you don't have no right to go and do it. But now it's also come with a modern world. Things have changed.
So they don't do that particular ceremony anymore.
Yes. So that is a ceremony they perform, puberty rites for the women before you can start to do whatever you have to do. But now it's no longer there. But even sometimes, session of Ghana, they still do it.
Do they? What was? I can't think of the term, but there was a term I know in some parts of Africa. I don't know which ones. Oh my God, where they do the mutilation on the private parts of the woman. Have you heard of any of that in Ghana going on?
They do what now?
It's like there's a mutilation of the vagina area in some tribes. So basically it's almost like they're messing with the vagina, like where they can't get pleasure. It's a really, I can't say a weird tradition because it's their culture, but I don't understand that particular culture. Have you heard of that going on in Ghana before?
Yes, that's in the northern part of Ghana. Even now, it's still there. But now, some NGOs, some agencies, human rights societies, they've risen against that. That you are infringing on their human rights.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's a
But
we can do a whole nother video.
before the arrival of the white man in Ghana, in Africa, when before they are introducing the government way of ruling, it was only the kings and the chiefs that used to rule the people. And they are the overlords of the tradition. So now that we have a modern way of government and the rest, but still the traditional leaders are having power to certain kind of culture. Regardless, you are human rights, all right. You have your human rights organization. You can talk whatever, but it doesn't work when the culture stands out. You understand? There's an instance just recently, I think three weeks ago, from the northern part of Ghana, two people went to have sex and they got it on videotape. They recorded it whilst they were doing it. The video got leaked. Okay. The chief of the town summoned them and they tied both of them, the male and the female, both of them, they tied them against a pole. They tied their feet, their hands, and you know, they beat the hell out of them, both of them in public. I remember I was even talking about it on my show that it's wrong. Though in our society, you don't do that. You don't have sex and videotape it. Yes, they do it. And so what? Why would you have to beat them? And they beat them that they have cuts at their backs and their backs and all that. Regardless, human rights are around, police and everybody, but the culture overpower the government who is talking about human rights and the rest. Because that's their culture. And then previously, when the kings and the chiefs were ruling, when certain things happen, they have to perform a rite. They say the gods will be mad at the people, so they have to perform a rite to beg them to clear every misfortunes that will come out from that act. You understand? So even now, they will tell you on our land we don't do this. Let's say maybe abortion is forbidden in some part of in our tradition. We don't do that. So when somebody performs abortion on some part of the land, you know, it's something you are not supposed to, and you've done it. So it has brought some kind of you know, bad luck to the society and all that. So they have to perform and right, and then they can even you know push you out from the town wherever you are from. You understand?
Yes, very, very interesting on like traditional roles and just culture. And some of these things you hear of, and some of the things that I'm learning that's new today. So very, very interesting conversation. Let's switch it to, let's say you've gotten past the dating stage. What about marriage as it relates to either like traditional roles of Ghanaian men, like do they expect for the women to like cook and clean and just bear children as a traditional husband? Or is times changing where it's 50-50? Like, what does a traditional role of a husband and a wife look like in a marriage?
So in marriage too, it's almost like how the relationship got to the marriage stage. But now things are changing. Previously, when you get married, the woman's supposed to be at home, cook, clean, bear children. Okay, you cook, you clean, you bear children, and that's it. Like housewife kind of thing. And the man will be also, the man's duty is to go out there and bring money to the house, and yours is to take care of the house, cook, take care of the children, bear children and take care of them whilst you just be at home. So previously, most of our women were not allowed to even go to school, because they say even if a woman go to school, regardless how the level of education you're going to have, you still have to come back and be a housewife. So what's the point? So parents were using their money to educate the male children, whilst the female stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
So not until recently, that was how it is. I remember whilst growing up, there were this, TV commercials on the screens, say send the girl child to school, send the girl child to school, because it wasn't like that. They don't go to school; they stay home and help their mothers. And when they grow, they get married and still stay home, cook, bear children, and take care of the house whilst the men go out there. But now things have changed. But bearing children, now that it's almost like 50-50. You can also go to work, both of you can work, and then you can take care of the house stuff. You still need to bear children. That is a big deal. Here in Ghana, when you get married, after a year, there is no child. You see people, being nosy about your business. What's going on? Why is the child not coming? Do you have any problem? Would you want me to take you to a herbalist? Do you need some help? You understand? They're gonna put this kind of pressure on you, and then your mother and your father, they're gonna invite you, the man, and ask you, when are you gonna give us our grandchildren? We are getting old. We might just leave this world, and we want to see our grandchildren before we leave this world. So it kind of puts some kind of pressure on you. And then previously too, they didn't believe there can be a problem with a man, like diseases, sickness, like a low sperm count or whatever. They
Yeah.
think the man is always 100%. It's just about the woman to give birth. So when the children are not coming, it's the fault of the woman.
Right. And now we're finding out technology and science that there are issues with men. Sometimes the women are perfectly fine and it's the men
Sadly.
that cannot produce children as well. And that's interesting too, because yes, although like our parents or our, in-laws will ask about kids, we're also trying to come into an area where it's kind of like we don't necessarily ask. And the reason why we don't ask is because women do have issues. Sometimes they can't produce children. Sometimes they've had miscarriages. They have a lot of different issues to where they cannot have children. And so if you're constantly like, when are you going to have kids? Let me try to take you to a herbalist. Let me try to take you to a doctor. To a doctor. It's kind of offensive for us Whereas you're saying that, you know, having children is a very, very important role as a woman in the African culture, which again, I think is important for us too, but we realize that there are several different things going on in a relationship or within those two people that can prevent someone from having a child.
Mm. So sometimes you might be having a very peaceful marriage, a happy home, but when the children are not coming, it becomes a disastrous because that is where you see your mother walking to your marital home and she gonna be like, Kofi, why is the child not coming? What is the problem? Would you want me to, bring in another woman to come and, help you give birth? Maybe this one is not producing, the other one can come and produce. Sometimes
Okay, but even with that scenario, is the woman supposed to be within the family now, or is just the baby is invited to the marriage? Like, how would that work?
so how it works is that depends on that is why you need to have your father and mother-in-laws. But that would depend on the person in question. That is the parents of the man you got married to. Some of them, they might be very lenient. When they are lenient, they will do it behind you. Okay? So they will advise their son to try somewhere else. Probably they might have children. But when, they are the rough type, they don't care. They will walk to you and tell you, we need a grandchildren. Since you are not ready to give us any, we will bring in a second wife. Sometimes the man, yes, sometimes the man might not even agree to it. You will be there, they will arrange and bring somebody to your marital home. What is their business? Their business is that your wife is not producing, so she's coming to produce. Okay.
Very intrusive. That's what we would call intrusive. And we would call that slang doing too much. Okay.
Yeah, do too much. But
Yeah,
now,
that's what we would say.
but now in some home, that is not more allowed because of Christianity. Some of them will tell you, Mom, you know what? I'm a Christian. I believe in God. On God's own time, everything is gonna be fine. But it depends on the parents too. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the kind of parents you are having. They can agree, and some they will not. They will never stop worrying your life until they see you've gotten the second wife or a side chick or whatever to provide the child for them. Sometimes if that can lead to the marriage to hit the rock.
Yeah, that's definitely, especially if you're in a we all know relationships come with challenges and good times, but that would definitely create a rift between the two, especially if that's something that they don't agree on. If that's something they're into, whatever, that's a different case. But most people wouldn't just want. I don't know. I was about to say I don't know anybody that just wants to be the second, but there are people out there, so we won't even go into that. But so again, so what about so in this? Let's say we're bringing it today's times because we know a lot of the stuff that you're discussing is still happening, was happening. But let's try like a relationship in 2022. If you're married to somebody, will your partner cook for you, clean for you? Is it this 50-50 thing, or is it still no, this is the man's place, this is the woman's place? Because we know women are working out. I know a lot of Ghanaian women working out as well. So what does that look like in 2022 relationship?
2022, things are getting better. If I say things are getting better, what I mean is that now people are realizing, it's a divided role. We are all involved. Okay. So both of us have to take care of everything. But when you put it on a scale ref of 100, it's like 60% better. Okay. So 40% believe no, the woman's supposed to do everything. And so your friend will see you maybe washing your wife or your partner's clothing. They're gonna be like, really? What's wrong with you? You don't do that. where's the woman? You know, but people are trying. Like me personally, I see nothing wrong with that. You understand? Because if you love somebody, you should love them, care for them, and support them regardless. You know.
Right, I
But
agree. And I do want to make this disclaimer too. Although we have talked a lot about traditional roles and the way things were traditionally and culture, I have dated African men, and I all the things that we talked about today has not necessarily been my experience. I've had men that cooked better than me, clean better than me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to just take away this video and be like, oh, I would never date a Ghanaian man because of, some of the stuff that we discussed in it. Now, I hope you got this far into the video, because if you stopped at 20 minutes into the video, you would be like, oh, I'm not going to date them for forever. But we all know that everybody's personality is different. Their upbringing is different. And we are coming into new traditions, and maybe that's an influence on the West from the Western world or whatever the case is. But there are people that kind of believe, speaking from an African American perspective, like they kind of believe are okay with, like you said, the cooking, the cleaning, of course, me going to work or me being educated. So I do want to put that disclaimer out there.
yeah, very nice.
Okay, so Kofi, I had a question for you. So now that you've dated both, right? You've dated the African American woman and Ghanaian women. So at this point in life, who would you want to date and marry? Which one would you say, and why?
Okay, so like I'm saying, there are interested parts of both sides. You understand? So I think it's all come and fall under the person you are involved with. Okay, that will tell you, because some African American men, I'm sorry, African American women are also, like, because of the cultural differences. If you are with an African American woman, sometimes you get stuck on the way, okay, because of the cultural differences. But some of them are also ready to shift and try to learn the different, like, let me learn from you, you also learn from me. Okay. So it depends on the person in question. If the person is ready to learn, you will be fine. Other than that, you will go and hit the wall, and the reality will hit you. Okay. Because here, regardless how the woman, even now, people, it's even all over on the social media. We have session of Ghanaian women that are also thinking, like, it's a divided role. Both of us need to do everything, and go, when there's a story like that pops up, go to their comment section and see how some men are bashing them. Like, what do you mean? You are a woman. You're supposed to, like, you know what I mean? So it depends.
But Kobe, you mentioned about them learning, and I know the question is for you, but also you all have to be open to learning our culture as well. So I feel like if two people are willing to be open and learn each other's culture, then the relationship could work. Because even if, let's say, we're all black, right? You're black, I'm black, somebody that's black from America, like, even though we're all black, we may all have cultural differences right here in America about family, relationships, and different things like that. So we're always constantly learning about our partner, regardless of where they come from, and if we are all still black.
Yeah. So I mean, it's quite interesting how, and then let me put this across. And it's funny, Ghanaian women, African American women, most of Ghanaian men, when they are with the Ghanaian women, it comes with a different approach. When they are with African American, it also comes with a different approach. You know why? They try to, shift. Let me use the word shift a bit to suit how the woman wants things to be done. Okay. A typical example is that, knowing the African American woman is not ready to cook for you at all time, he will agree to also cook sometimes or most times. Okay. But when they are with the Ghanaian women, They don't want to do that. When you put 100 people, like about 5 people will do that. Okay. But when they are with African American women, they try to shift a bit. That is where the realities set in. When it's on and on and on, let's say after 4 years and the rest, they're supposed to see you catching up. Catching up means trying to, live like that of how we are raised. Okay. Because we are raised from a tradition that says men don't do certain things. Okay. So even sometimes some of the homes, when their wives are sick, they can't do nothing. They would rather go outside and buy food. They would rather go and get somebody to come and wash for them and clean for them and take money than to take the responsibility of doing it. You understand? So yeah, that's how it is.
So you never answered my question. Which one are you going for? The African American or the Ghanaian woman?
That's what I'm saying. That would depend on the personality. Like I'm having a full support for the Ghanaian woman because that's how I was raised, and a soft spot for the American woman if they are ready to, learn from each other.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's your answer. Okay. Okay, so we have been on here for a minute now. So are there any other last things that you want to say about dating either an African American woman or any of the traditional roles or anything like that? Or okay, let's say this. What advice would you give to somebody that's dating a Ghanaian man?
So, what I'm going to tell somebody who is dating a Ghanaian man is that try to understand them because that's how we were raised. Okay, so however they want you to be, and you can't be like that. It shouldn't be an argument, but try to let them understand because, like I'm saying, they are ready to shift because this is a environment you are coming from. That's how you are raised from our ancestors, our grandfathers, our fathers, and to us. Okay, so they are ready to learn. That's what I'm saying. Because of now, because people are traveling back, front, forward here. People are going there. People are coming.
Okay, I think we may have a lost Kofi. There may be an internet issue. But yeah, I think this was a great conversation. And I'm happy that I got a chance to talk to Kofi about his perspective because I can say all day what my perspective is dating a Ghanaian man or whatever the case is. But what better way than to actually hear it from a Ghanaian man? So I hope that you enjoy this conversation that we have had thus far. And let me know what your thoughts are. I want to know your thoughts, your questions, your comments. And do you agree with some of the stuff that I said? Do you agree with some of the stuff that um do you agree with some of the stuff that Kofi might have said? So Kofi, we lost you for a minute. You want to wrap up what you were saying?
Yeah. So, like I'm saying, it's everything is conversation, dialoguing. I mean, get time to learn from them, and they are, Ghanaian men are amazing guys. You understand? So just try to understand them because sometimes you might not understand, but it's because of how we were raised. Okay. And then also another advice I would want to give is that okay, let's talk about this one too before we wrap up. Most of American women think Ghanaian men are with them or African men are with them because of
Green card. Yes, that is a very good discussion. How could I forget that? Okay. I'm glad you talked about that. Yes, there is the common theme that people say that some African men, Ghanaian, we can put Ghanaian in there, want you for a green card. And I think it's 50-50. I think there are guys that just want a green card, but I think there, on the other hand, I think there are guys that genuinely
That
want to be in a relationship.
yes, that one too is very. And then there's another one too that I realize about African American women is that sometimes too when they are in relationship, like I'm saying, two different cultures, and you've agreed to be with each other. In most times, to my experience, most of the American feel more like, I'm trying to choose my words right. They feel like, like they feel like they are the number one priority in terms of anything because they are American. You understand? And they feel like you're an African, like you don't know anything. You understand? So sometimes when the going get tough, even your opinion doesn't even count because you don't know anything. What do you know in Africa? You understand? That one also should be, should be looked at. Yeah.
So do you think that they want green cards, or?
It's 50-50. Some are genuinely wants relationship and some are also the other way around.
Well, I will say, whether or not they want a green card, if you do want to have a good time in Ghana, there are plenty men available and in abundance. I was talking to somebody about the group trip, and they were like, "So am I gonna get a chance to meet somebody?" I was like, "Don't worry, girl. You'll definitely be able to meet somebody." So we can facilitate maybe the meeting of somebody. We cannot facilitate what happens after y'all meet. So just be careful. I think, but that's with any relationship. You have to vet who you're dating. I would definitely say don't rush into anything very quickly. I have noticed with Ghanaian men, African men, Caribbean men, they are almost what we call the term love bombing, where it's constantly like, "Oh my God, I love you. You're the best." And just all these different like things. You're like, "Sir, I just met you yesterday. You don't love me." So you definitely have. And what'd you say? What'd you say, Kobe?
I say you don't even know the person. Like you don't even know me. So how can you love me?
Exactly. But I've gotten that a lot. So I'm pretty sure if it's happening to me, it's happening to other people as well. So those are things that you just have to be careful about. Like, don't just get so lovesick so quickly and early because they write you love poems and they say how much they love you and how beautiful you are. Because that's very easy to say, right? But when it comes to relationships, that's like a whole different story. So I just say be careful, vet who you're dating, and yeah. But there are some great Ghanaian men out there. So if that's the route you choose, let me know what happens. I love doing interviews about love stories, and specifically in Ghana. They're on the YouTube channel now. And those conversations are always a good time. All right, Kofi, I think we're going to wrap it up. Again, I'll put Kofi's information so that you all can reach out to him if you are in Ghana and need to do a tour or anything like that. And where can they find you at? Can they find any of your shows anywhere, or Kofi?
Yeah, Tiffany.
Can they find you? Can they find you on TV anywhere, or no?
Yes, my show is on Want Me TV Live on Facebook. It's also on YouTube, and I'm also on Instagram as well.
Okay. Okay. So we'll make sure to put all your information in. So if anybody wants to contact you, then they can do so. Okay. Thank you so much, Kofi, for coming on. This is a very interesting conversation. And y'all check this out and let us know what y'all think in the comments. Let us know. All right. Peace.
All right. Thank you for having me. Peace. And yeah, thank you.